Hello, Thorsten.
Hi, how are you?
Very good. I'm happy to be here in the fourth recording. Today, we are going to be talking about how to add things to Trickle easily and fast, especially sources. There's one method I recommend everyone as a start, and that's using a bookmarklet. The bookmarklet, I have it here on the top left of the browser, add to Trickle. You see here the little JavaScript function that's behind it. What it does is, if you have a website, here I have, for example, a newsletter on Substack, and I am on that website, I just click on the bookmarklet. It takes the URL that I'm currently on and feeds it into the add to Trickle functionality. It shows you the URL at the very beginning. That's especially important for me. Sometimes something doesn't work. And then, for example, I delete a parameter. That's not necessary. Usually Trickle gets rid of the tracking codes, the Google Analytics stuff. It would be nice if you take a little care of putting the right link here inside. Because for Trickle, that's important. And also for you, that's important if you add something there, because it allows you to discover things in the future, other connections to this article or to this newsletter in that case, if the URL is the same. Then you can go ahead and add the source. So it's basically 2 clicks, and then Trickle opens with that source already connected. It's now added to Trickle and connected to your inbox. We discussed the inbox in the last video. Everything needs to be connected to something. And if you use the bookmarklet, it will be connected to your inbox by default.
So it's basically a shortcut of copying the link, going to Trickle, add, copy, paste the link, and add it.
Exactly. If I click here, I go to the link. I could also copy this URL here, go to my Trickle, and click add new, add source. And then I have the same dialog that I have with the bookmarklet, and I can add the source here. That would be an alternative way to add the source.
The bookmarklet is much quicker and easier.
Yes, it's quicker and easier. It's also available on phones. You still have access to your bookmarklets. Usually they are synchronized. And then you can use the same bookmarklet. It does work on the phone as well.
Mm-hmm.
How do you get this bookmarklet? It's not complicated at all. I remove that now here. If you want to install the bookmarklet for the first time, you click anywhere, add new, add source. And here you have a little blue text, add faster via bookmarklet. If you click that, it unfolds the bookmarklet plus a little explainer video. And then you can drag and drop this to your browser bar. So if you drag and drop it, what it actually does, it creates a new bookmark that points to this strange address here, the JavaScript address. You also see it here below. You can copy the link, and then you have this address in your clipboard. That's what needs to be added to the bookmark. And that says, take the current location and add it to the trickle.app domain.
But for the non-techies, it's not important what it says in there.
Exactly. You just go to add new, add source, click here, and then you drag and drop it to your bookmarks, to your favorites bar.
And it works in all browsers, like Safari, Chrome?
Yes, works cross-browser, cross-devices, because it basically just replaces the current URL. Of course, you need to be logged in to make this work, but then you get immediately the prompt to add something to my Trickle. We can try this here with other pages. So usually I read newsletters on the browser. And then in this newsletter was one reference that I wanted to save, one of the best pieces on the metaverse. I could just copy the link and then paste it in Trickle, but I won't do that here. I instead click on the link, check out the source, and then I click add to Trickle. This replaces the URL, puts already the correct URL in here. I click add source, and it's connected now to my Trickle. and it's connected to the inbox. Now I got this source from the newsletter, and I have this newsletter in my Trickle here. So what I do now is I connect this link also to the newsletter. Now, whenever I will open this link, I will know that I have it from this newsletter.
Well, you got it.
I have also a stream about the metaverse. What I do now is I search for it. Now here I see the stream, my personal stream. I connected to Metaverse 2. Now I can remove it from the inbox. We talked about this in the last video. Since I have other connections in my Trickle, it's not necessary to keep it connected to the inbox. Back to the article. Let's read it for other things. Here's a reference to a good guide about decentralized finance. I click Add to Trickle and add source. Now it's added here to my Trickle again. And what is this? It's already connected to a stream of mine. This is because I already saved it in my Trickle. Actually, I discovered this YouTube channel and that referenced this. So now I remember I already have it in my Trickle. I still connect it to the newsletter because then I know that I might also find other sources related to decentralized finance in this newsletter.
It's the same URL, you don't have it twice.
This URL can only be once in Trickle. If you add it now yourself, for example, you would see the same thing here. You would not see anything from me, but you would start to connect also your own sources to it or your own streams. And at some point, you will be able to publish that, me too, and then we can also discover other connections on Trickle. I go back to the newsletter. And one other article that stood out to me is a good comparison between the old financial infrastructure and the new. Interesting overview about wallets, front-end analytics, and so on. So I click Add to Trickle, click Add Source. Now again, since this article is a new article, it's just connected to my inbox. I go now to add connection, connect it first of all to the newsletter, and then to the DeFi stream that I have. Here it is, and I connect it to this stream as well. And I don't need the inbox connection now anymore. One side effect of using the Bookmarklet is that you collect more instances of Trickle here. Every time you open a new source, it opens in a new tab. Then you click the Add to Trickle and it's replaced with Trickle. I often find myself with many instances of Trickle, and then I just close the ones that I don't need. The most recent one is the one that I leave open. From there, I can navigate back to my Trickle and see what I just added here to my collection. In summary, the Trickle Bookmarklet is a fast way when you are on a page and you want to add this page to Trickle. You can see Trickle as a catch-all for everything that is interesting for you. You can also start with one use case. My Trickle has the structure that everything is just collected one below each other. Every article that you see that is interesting and that you want to remember for the future, you just start to put it on Trickle with this Bookmarklet. And then you decide what to do with it later. You can connect it to multiple different streams. You can connect it to other articles or write drips about it, but that's something that evolves over time. The first thing is that you actually catch it and remember it. I have more than 2,000 sources by now. Of course, this is a good reference for me. For example, what else did I have on Finematics, the source that I just added? I might find that I have another one that I collected on a different date. So that helps me to slowly build up over time this recollection of interesting things. One more use case could be if you save just products that you find interesting. That's one of the use cases that we also discussed that I do. I collect topics that are interested at the moment, podcast episodes and newsletter issues. And you see my product stream with quite a lot of connections. These are products that stood out to me in some context and that I consider to buy. I first save it in a place where I know I find it later, but then I can, with a rested mind, I can think about it again. And then usually I don't buy these things. You see here the popcorn maker or a good screwdriver or blender. Everything that strikes me as interesting, I put in here because I know it's a safe thing. I don't lose it, but I also don't buy it right away. I think that's a good start. Add something with the Bookmarklet. You find it in the Add New dialog here. When you disable the filters, you go here, Add Source, Add Faster via Bookmarklet. You drag and drop it to your browser bar and go from there.
And when you're browsing the internet and want to add something to Trickle, do you use anything else than the bookmark? Because I think this sounds much easier than the other way around.
Yes, when you are in the browser, then this is the only thing you need. I personally use an iOS shortcut as well. I'll go into this in a different video. That's powerful if you want to share also from other apps, because to see the bookmark, you need to be in a browser. That's the only restriction. But the shortcut is available in any app and also in the browser. But that works only on iOS, unfortunately, so not on Android devices. Good. So should we leave it at that for now?
Yeah, perfect.
Thank you, Thorsten, for keeping me company here. And see you next time.
See you. Take care.